and welcome back. Now I'm being joined by Mr. Eric Bolhart, who works at Media Matters in Washington, D.C. Alright, now Eric, it seems that there's this one guy, Lou Dobbs, using both his radio show and his slot on CNN to put forward what seems increasingly like a personal agenda. So tell me, how is that even possible?
Well, it's become, as the Associated Press pointed out this week, it's become a huge embarrassment for CNN. Because you're right, he has this syndicated talk show host, which CNN claims it has no control over. He says whatever he wants, and CNN shouldn't be blamed or held responsible for what he says on his show, which makes a certain amount of sense. But CNN, and there's also been cross-promotion in the past between the radio show and the TV show, and CNN has been shy about promoting it. But the fact is that Lou Dobbs has talked about this birther conspiracy on the radio show, but he's also talked about it on his TV show repeatedly. So the criticism isn't that Lou Dobbs is employed by CNN and, oh, by the way, he talks about this birther stuff on his radio show. It's that he talks about it on his TV show too, as well. And the problem CNN has faced is, nobody thinks any of this is factually has been substantiated. And the head of CNN sent an email internally about 10 days ago saying the story is dead. There's nothing to substantiate it. And yet, within 24 or 48 hours, the head of CNN was saying, well, Lou Dobbs is asking legitimate questions, and certainly nobody could, be opposed to asking questions and things like that. And so it's been another week where he's going on and on about this stuff. And CNN is having its name, completely dragged through the mud. There aren't two people in that whole news organization that think this birther story should be being discussed or promoted on CNN, but they apparently are unable to rein him in.
Okay, but here's the part that confuses me. CNN calls itself the most trusted name in news, and it's a huge network. So how is it that one or maybe two people can dictate an agenda that contradicts what CNN itself stands for?
Well, you would think, and again, that's what's so head-scratching about this. That's why Media Matters wanted to buy an ad and run it on CNN on Lou Dobbs' show, urging people to contact the network to ask them to tell Lou Dobbs to stop. But I think what it shows is, these high-paid anchors often don't really answer to anybody. I mean, they've got massive egos, and they pride themselves on not being able to being told what to do. And CNN tries to portray Lou Dobbs as an anchor, but they also say, oh, by the way, he does opinion, so if he's in the opinion business, we're not going to tell him what to say. But this is a classic example of a news organization that ought to be able to, dictate the sort of standard basic guidelines that its journalists adhere to.
Okay, we'll be coming back to Mr. Bolhart in just a moment, but right now it's time for a break. Now, when we come back, we're going to be looking at some of the political implications of this entire controversy. Stay tuned.